Every single person on earth has an innate ability to create. Hey y'all, I wanted to tell you about my e-course, 100 Days Creating with God. I believe it is the single most important course you can take. It's a great starting place. See, because I believe that you have to develop a daily discipline before you can move into the artist that God wants you to be. Now, some of you may be doing artistic work with paints, but others of you may be starting a flower garden. You also may be cleaning out drawers and getting organized, and that may be your place of creativity. God says He made us in His image, and He is the great creator, then we were made to create too. And so my e-course, 100 Days Creating with God, is a great start for you. It will help you to develop your daily discipline. First, you'll have some inner changes inside of you. You'll connect with God and His holy word in new ways. And then secondly, you will develop your skill set as a creative. I will set up the rhythms for you where you will be spending time with God every day for 100 days. It will change your life. So consider taking my e-course, 100 Days Creating with God.
Plant a seed, no one knows what it will be. Watch it grow, watch it grow, watch it grow, watch it grow. Your small beginning.
Hey y'all, welcome to my podcast today. I'm so glad you joined me. Today we flipped the tables again, and Kamran, a new friend of mine that I met through Kajabi, which is my online platform for my e-course, called and let me know that he was looking for people that own small businesses to interview them. And so I agreed to be interviewed by him for his special Facebook page about small business tactics. And so I decided to go ahead and play this interview for you. I am the one being interviewed, and I think you might find it interesting. And I just want to bless you in your own small beginnings. I hope that it is informative for you and that you enjoy it. And Kamran was a delight to be interviewed by, and it was really special. So blessings, y'all, as you listen to me being interviewed by Kamran.
My guest today is Sara Thurman. She is an author, artist, educator, and podcaster. So she has her own podcast as well, which is great. Sara's passion is to help others realize their creativity and to celebrate the small beginnings in the unique creative processes, which is great because sometimes we always think of beginnings as it has to be as big as possible, but
Yes.
things can be big and small. So very good that we want to talk about this with Sara. Sara has published a memoir of her journey of becoming an artist in 2019. It's called Small Beginnings, A Journey to the Impossible, which was a #1 bestseller on Kindle. Perfect. In May 2020, Sara started her podcast that has had downloads in over 25 countries, Small Beginnings with Sara. She has an e-course about creating with God for 100 days. This is great. Sara has done a lot and has achieved a lot. She's into painting, but I'm not going to talk about everything. Maybe she shares. And as she says, she's going to download and goes with the free flow in this interview. So let's see how it goes, Sara. Thank you so much for being with me today in this interview.
Yes. I'm happy to be here. I look for opportunities to share. So this is wonderful. Yeah.
Very good. And I forgot to mention that Sara is the business owner and her business is named Acts 1/8 Blessings. Acts 1/8 Blessings. We'll talk about that as well, what it means. So Sara, what is the story behind your business? Why did you start Acts 1/8 Blessings?
Yeah. Well, it was a surprise to me. I never, ever expected to be a small business owner. I'm retired from Texas public school system. I actually was even an adjunct professor at University of Houston. I have my doctorate. I was a principal, central office administrator. I retired in 2014 and thought that I would just retire and travel and etc. But in the fall of 2014, I painted for the first time with a group of women. And it was during that time, it was just for a few weeks, I heard God tell me, "You're an artist for me." And I said, "There's no way." I had never taken an art class. There was no way. I was not an artist. However, I believed God. And so I said, "I don't know what I'm doing." And he said, "Hang out with me and I will teach you." So it really started my journey. And so for several years, I painted just in my time with him every day and did watercolor and just did simple things. And then I prayed a prayer in the fall of 2016 that I would be able to start selling my artwork. And within 7 weeks, my artwork started selling. And so in January of 2017, my husband and I started the business called Acts 18 Blessings. And my husband was a woodworker. And so he had a wood shop outside in our backyard, and he made different things with wood, tables and stands for cookbooks and iPads, those kind of things. And we were selling in our little senior citizens craft shop here in our little local town. And but I could feel there was something more that God was doing. Mm-hmm. And it had to do with giving a message out to the world from the scripture in the Bible from Acts 1:8, which says, "You'll make my name famous. The Spirit of the Lord will come upon you, and you'll make my name famous in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." And so my husband and I traveled a lot, and we just had this desire to send out from our own hands money to help others go out, but also for ourselves to go. And so that started January 2nd of 2017. We started our business, and we started with a DBA. And then in 2019, we moved to an LLC.
Very good, very good. And it kind of reminds me of whatever you give out, you receive in multifold. So I think that's really meaningful for what you're doing. And now with the paintings that you have, the craft shop, is this the only product, or you have services to also provide now after you realize God is really talking to you? How do you help others?
So, yes, it's so interesting. As I was reflecting on this morning and preparing for this interview, we started so small. I started making little tiny note cards with watercolor, and I sell them for $4.95. And now I sell my large paintings for just under $600. And I have sold over 1,000 paintings in the last few years. I have painted over 1,200 paintings. So the painting, yes, was what I worked on. But then in the fall of 2018, again, God is telling me, you need to start teaching. And I'm a teacher, I'm a school principal, right? I've been in teaching, and I'm like, do you want me to teach painting? I am self-taught. And it was like, no, I want you to share with people how you hear me in the creative process. So I really started spending time, because I can hear God, not the audible voice, but in my spirit, I know it's a sound and a voice that is not mine. It's coming from the higher being. So he's like, this is what I want you to start teaching. So in 2019, I started having retreats, started with just 3 hours, and then moved to full weekend retreats. And then I wrote an e-course last summer on 100 Days Creating with God, which is like my foundation. If we spend time every day working on something, we absolutely will get better. And that's really the foundation, this discipline. If we want to improve in something, we must work at it on a daily basis to get better. It's not, it sometimes could happen automatically, but it is likely we will need to work on a daily basis. So if you do something for 100 days and you mark your journey, for sure at the 100th day, it's going to be different than on day one. So that really is a basis, and it has to come with just my training as a teacher and a school principal. in exemplary schools that it takes work to be excellent. Like you can't expect it to happen overnight. So if you want to get good at something, then you need to work at it.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So the small beginnings, that's really the meaning of it. You start small and then you do it continuously for 100 days and definitely you will see something better from the time that you started. And I think it starts with the intention that you have for something.
Yes. So you need to know you need to dream, you need to know your purpose. So in my book, Small Beginnings, A Journey to the Impossible, I really wasn't planning on writing a book, but there is a scripture in the Old Testament. It's from Zechariah. And Zerubbabel had been given the job to rebuild the temple. And he says, do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. And so when we are starting something new, discouragement comes very quickly, very easily, like it bombards us. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not any good. Oh, they're better than me. Oh, everybody else is already doing this. I can't do it. But this scripture has been such an anchor for me because it says the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. So the first work is a thought in our mind. And he's so happy that we're thinking of something new because I truly believe he created us to create. We're made in his image. We're the only creature that is made in his image. And at the end of the sixth day, when he was doing the creation, he said, I'm very happy. I'm very pleased with man. I mean, he liked the zebra and he liked the plants and the trees, right? And he said that was good. But at the end of the sixth day, he said, it is very good. And he made us in his image. So therefore, if he's the creator, then we're made to create. So that really is my passion, to help people understand, all people, even if you thought that you would never be a creative, I did for 56 years. I'm not an artist. There's no way. And God has proven to me that there was an artist inside of me. And so it's this process of believing in the very small steps and going on the journey, because I would never have thought in the spring of 2014, when I retired from being a Texas school administrator, that I would have a business with really, I'm working on, different pillars in my business, and I have my artwork, I have my book. I just sent my second book to my content editor yesterday, and I have 3 more books in here, and I've already started taking notes. I have my e-course. I have more e-courses in here, more like an experience course. I just started a membership group this May that is a private inner circle membership group of small beginnings for people that are writers, artists. And so we meet on Zoom and I teach every Monday, and they're from all over the world. And honestly, we are so surprised how close we feel to each other through Zoom. We have never met in person, and yet we feel so connected. So I'm helping people find the connection, because we all need to feel like we're known and that we have people to come along with us. And one of the chapters in my book is find your people. Like, we're not meant to do this alone. It's too hard. There's too many negative things, and we need to encourage and find our place where we lock arms and we say, okay, we're moving forward. We're doing this. And this is what I believe you're doing with your Facebook group, is for the small business owners to say, this is hard, but we can learn from each other.
Exactly. Thank you so much. I can kind of feel your passion, and I can feel that you are really living on purpose, because many people still haven't realized it and they're anxious to find it. But when you let go and just let go, it will come to you. And somehow it's linked really to the background. So you've been a teacher, and I can see that you are really great teacher to teach whatever you are doing right now. So perfect. Now, talking about people who come and join your membership or buy the books, who is your ideal client? Now, we know many people might be interested, but who do you really like or love to work with?
Well, it's actually someone like me that had never really discovered that they were a creative. And, but I do have younger people. I have people in their 20s in my group. So it is multi-generational, but it is the person that has not yet discovered, or like even this weekend, I met some people And a man told me, he said, I was known as the artist in my school. And now 25 years later, I haven't been doing art at all, but I want to start again. I can feel this. And I said, come, I have open studio time. Come to my retreat. We will get you started again and release what God has put in you. So it is varied. And it's not also just the artist, just the painter. It is the creative in the writing, the poet, the prose, the gardener, the chef. I mean, because we're all creative in different ways. It may be the home decorator, it doesn't necessarily need to be with a canvas and a paintbrush, though that is primarily who I help. But I also am helping people. In fact, today I do one-on-one mentoring. And today I talked with a girl who's starting an antique business, like finding the treasures. And she's in Pennsylvania. No, she's in Ohio. And so she is getting so excited about finding the treasures. And she has such an eye for it. She has such a passion. And she's also an artist, but she's like, this is what I really love. I'm like, then go with this. Go with this. This is energizing you, so it's finding the treasures and repurposing them and helping others find it.
Now, Sara, like one of the difficulties for business owners is crafting their message. Like now, if you are in an elevator with someone and you have just few seconds and you want to describe your business for them to say, oh, I want to know more, what that sentence would be? Have you crafted that message that you can deliver in few seconds?
I hope so. Let me try. I am here to help you learn to find the creativity that you have inside of you to be more than you could ever dream or imagine.
Perfect. See,
so come
she
on,
hasn't even
I'm here.
written anything, right? It just comes naturally.
Anything. Yeah.
Doing beautiful. Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now, we know that all of us, right? So we are in business and now COVID-19, everything, right? So different challenges come. And all businesses also, we know they have this ebb and flow, up and down. And definitely you also have faced some challenges in your business.
Yes.
What is one of the biggest challenges that you have faced in your business that you can share with other business owners?
Yeah, well, there's actually two. It's the lack of in-person. So galleries closed. So I don't have the gallery to sell my artwork in. And second, I do a lot of retreats and they're in person. And so all the retreats I had scheduled for the first time of the part of the year, I could not. But I have pivoted. So I do online art gallery. So I have my paintings and I go around with my iPhone and I post it in my social media and I say, for Mother's Day, I sold over $2,000 worth of art that weekend because I let them know in advance, and actually the weekend before Mother's Day. And I said, I can ship it to your mother before Mother's Day. So so I pivoted to do an online art gallery in my own house, and showed them the paintings and the price. And then I've just recently pivoted to online retreats. We call ourselves the Zoomers. We are a whole new breed. We're called Zoomers, and we can engage by Zoom so well. I did a virtual retreat as well as an in-person retreat at the same time earlier this month. And it was a full day. It was intense, but I did it. And my Zoomers felt very engaged with me, very heard. And the people in person also felt very engaged. So I had my computer and I was talking to them, and then the people in person came up and spoke into the computer to show their artwork, read their poetry, because it was a creative spiritual retreat. We did more than just painting, but it worked. It was not the easiest thing for me as the facilitator and teacher, but I did it. And I think my school experience being a principal and teaching in front of large groups and speaking helped me, have a confidence that I wanted to pay attention to my people that were on the screen. They were in Australia, they were in Canada, they were all over the US, So, but then I had 8 people in person with me. So they also felt loved and cared for. But we look for places to pivot, and we just have to get used to it. And I think we cannot say, oh, I just know I can't do it. No, you say, how can I make this work for me? What can I do? And actually my business is only growing. So I have people that I have from Australia, Canada, and all over the US that I mentor, and other states. I've never met these people in person, but by Zoom,
very good,
we're connecting and we feel very close. Like we're not letting that be a detriment. We cannot, we have to think positive.
Yeah. So it even brings me back again to your keyword, right? Small beginnings, and even in virtual, starting small can really do wonders over time. So great. Now, Sara, tell me, what slows you down? You are growing your business, but you are like a human being as well, right? So what slows you down in your business or your personal life?
Well, I can get discouraged and look at numbers, and they can discourage me. So example, I am wanting to write a book on the first 100 days of my grief. My husband passed away in January. So it's been a very hard year. A very
Sorry
hard
to
year.
hear that.
Yes. And so I have shared my grief on my Facebook page. I've done several podcasts on grief, how I've dealt with my grief as a widow. And he was very much involved with our business. He was the framer of all my paintings. And he shipped everything out, so, but I want to write a book about my first 100 days of how it was. Now it's been more than 200 days. Like it's, so I'm having to learn the new small beginning of how to live my life without him. But I look at the numbers on my podcast for the number of hits and downloads of my grief podcast, and they're not high. And so I'm like, maybe I don't need to write this book on the first 100 days. So I start having doubt, right? So that is what slows me down. When I lose confidence, now I'm always looking for signs of where the rich and fertile soil is, because that's a parable in the Bible. And it says, if you plant where the good and fertile soil is, you'll get 30%, 60%, and 100% increase. I want to be planting there. So I also don't want to be planting where it's gravel and it grows and then dies in the sun. But I want to be looking, where is the harvest? So I look for signs. But I think the thing that's been the hardest, going back to your question, Kamran, is the encouragement from my husband. I miss the most. He was the wind beneath my wings. And so now who do I ask? I do have friends, but nobody really knew everything. He was my number one person. We were best friends, married 35 years. Like he was the wind beneath my wings. So now it's finding that. But I will say one other thing that has slowed me down is that I was working too much. So I was working 7 days a week. I would work because it was one of the ways I coped with my grief. And so just recently, actually this month, I started taking more days of rest where I don't work. I can paint or write. I've given myself permission for that, but nothing about the business, nothing about how to increase, just rest for a day or day and a half every week. And I can tell you exponentially, my sales have increased. Thank you.
Very, very inspiring. Thank you for sharing that, Sara. Now, Sara, the title of this interview series is Better Business Tactics. Now, I want to ask you, what tactic or what strategy really have you used that has worked in your business and you can kind of share it with other business owners?
Well, I would say fish lots of different places. I would consider myself in a boat, and I love to fish, and I'm going to fish close to the boat and far out. Then I'm going to turn and fish both places and keep turning and look for the harvest. And where you are catching, pay attention there. But you don't know. You need to test at first. You don't know. You don't know where exactly. Yeah, so test and then when you see a hit, when you catch the fish, keep fishing there. And maybe you'll have to
Yes,
change your
yes.
bait. Maybe you will have to move the boat some, but know what's working and look for that. That's what I call the good and fertile soil, because
Mm-hmm.
that's where the produce will come with immense increase, more than we could dream or imagine. And if
Very
you
good.
have the purpose, see, if your purpose is
Yeah.
not aligned with who God made you to be, then you're going to dry up. You're not going to make it. You have to
Mm-hmm.
have your purpose. And that's what I talk about in my book, Small Beginnings. Like, you have to dream, then you find your purpose. Then you have your discipline, there's steps to go. Then you find your people, and you
Mm-hmm.
can't, it's not meant to be alone. And I love it how much we get to learn from each other. And the small business community, oh my word, I listen to so many podcasts, and so many people want to help each other. And it's so good. Yeah.
Very good.
What you're doing.
Great. Thank you for sharing. Now, the next thing I want to ask is about the vision that you have, right? So you said that the business is growing. What is that ideal vision, that ideal picture that you have for yourself? Now, your husband is not there anymore, but definitely I'm sure there are others and other resources, and you are going to draw things. What is that perfect image that you see for yourself and the business, maybe 2 years, 3 years down the road?
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited about that. The whole world is my purpose. Like, next year, I want to travel to at least 10 countries if COVID opens up. I want to go and speak and share with people that they can make time for their creativity. I want more people to understand that when they create, they are connecting so much with the great creator. And so I have 4 more books, well, 3 more for sure in my head. A children's book, a book about my marriage called 27,000 Miles, for what my husband and I had. So I want marriages to get better. I want people to know and figure out their legacy like my husband and I did, so that their children and their children's children can have this legacy and purpose in life way beyond the 9-to-5 job, and I want it to go all over the world. And I want more money to give out to people. I mean, I have a goal. It is a really big goal, and it's sort of an impossible goal, except for God. And it was the same prayer that I said when I asked God if I could ever start selling my paintings. And I asked him for $4,000 profit per month to give out to people in need, and so I'm not there yet, but I believe I'm right there. Like, it will be within the year that I will have that much of net to give away that takes care of all my expenses, so I can help more people and all kinds of people. Like, I want them to know, and this is all from my motivation of showing God's love. Like, I get so excited when I look at my podcast and see it's been in 25 different countries are downloading it. I'm like, oh, I really have a vision for the world. Like, I want people to know that God is so happy with their first thought of their small beginning. I am willing to go wherever.
You just go with the flow.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're going to manifest this ideal image that you have, because you really feel presence of God in your own life.
Yes.
And that can draw whatever you want. And then you go out and give and empower others to do the same, which is really, that's, I think every one of us, when we start a business, if we have that mindset, we're going to achieve great things together. So thank you for sharing this great thought. Now, I know it was, I think, a few days ago, I was checking LinkedIn and I saw a post, and that was, everyone needs help. And I thought, yeah, everyone really needs help as long as they ask for it. So now I'm going to ask you, what sort of help you need in order to grow your business? Maybe there are others that can help you out.
Yeah, I think, Kamran, I doubt myself sometimes. What else do I need to be doing on my launch? Like, did I not do it so good? Launches are hard for me. Like, I don't get the results I want to get, especially Like with my membership, I've launched twice and I'm happy with where I am, but I want more. So it's like knowing and having the confidence that I truly am doing it the best way for Sara Thurman and the best way for Acts 1-8 Blessings. I just don't have enough confidence to know this, because I've done it the way I've heard and listened. And it's like, oh, well, it wasn't the greatest. So I always think I should be doing more. I should be doing more. And I really want to say, you know what? It's okay. Like rest some, Sara, and watch me. I mean, that's what I hear God telling me. Watch me, and I will send you helpers, and I will send, that's what, when I started the podcast, I'd never thought of the podcast, never. And I heard from God on March 8th. I was flying from an art conference, Asheville, North Carolina to Atlanta, 27-minute flight. And I heard God tell me, it is time to start your podcast, in my thoughts. And I said back to him in my thoughts, we have never talked about this. And I heard him tell me back, you have everything you need. And I launched May 19th. Like I did it. And people helped me, and they still help me. So I think this orchard, I wanted to share this visualization. I have an orchard in my backyard, and I believe that this orchard that has been planted in my backyard, that I am planting more people, one tree, one seed taken from my orchard will then go, and those people will plant their orchard. And then that orchard will have fruit and seeds that will go to others. Like, honestly, I believe to the entire world. Like I am like ready to go. And I believe I am helping people plant their orchards. And so I really believe that. And I believe if we speak positive, we speak life, not death, that we can do way more. So I'm excited. Like I'm so excited, but thank you for asking me what I need help for.
You have excited me too. So
yeah,
you have excited me too to think boundless. So great. When I look at you and hear from you, it's like believe in yourself and be boundless. So great.
Amen.
Now, what is the best piece of advice that you could give maybe other business owners or those who are interested in hearing more about you, like those that could become your customers or benefit from your services? What would be that piece of advice that you could give them? Maybe that's the same advice, but let's hear from you.
Well, I want you to read my book. And because the book tells of miracle after miracle after miracle. And if you read my book, you're going to really know who I am. Like, and then start listening to my podcast. And if you like what you're hearing, if you are feeling encouraged at the end, then come in. I'm ready. My doors are open, or I'll open my doors specifically for you. Right now, my membership is closed, but I can open it for you because I'm the owner. I can sneak you in. But you need to find your passion. And if you have a passion, I will help you. I'm going to be your biggest cheerleader. Because, it just happened even this morning in a one-on-one mentoring. There was confusion. I don't know where to focus. And by the end, she tells me, I am so encouraged. Like, I know what to do now. And so I know I can help people because I'm asking God, like I believe in God. And so I'm asking him and I'm praying, God, show us the direction. I believe he's the great leader of all of us. And so if we connect with him, we're going to be okay. There's a chapter in my book called Get Out of the Boat. And there's a story about one of the disciples, only one, that got out of the boat and actually walked on the water to Jesus. Like I said, we can all walk on the water. All we have to do is know who we're going to go to, and we can do it. And so let's do it, and if we sink, it's okay. We're going to learn from that, and he's going to be right there to pull us up and walk back with us to the boat. So to the next step, like continue learning every day. What did I learn today? Okay. But don't get so discouraged. Like, okay, I'm not going to plant there again,
So I want everyone to really watch this interview and see what did I learn today and then how I can apply, because everyone really has to be teachable. and learn something from whatever we share. So that's really the reason also I'm sharing these interviews with the world. Thanks again, Sara, and I wish you great success in life and business.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Small Beginnings with Sara. I pray you've been encouraged and inspired by the stories that you have heard today. Please follow me on my social medias, including Instagram at Acts18Blessings, Facebook at Acts18Blessings, and on my website, sarathurman.com. You can help others start their own small beginnings by subscribing to my podcast and leaving a review. One sentence is wonderful, and it really helps share the word. And I want to leave you with one final question. How good can God be? Until next time, have a blessed day.